Hey guys, welcome back to another video of Impossible Mowers. In today's video, we're going to be getting one step closer to the final product of this machine. Now, I know I've been telling you guys over and over again, it's the date's going to be this day, it's going to be this day for the whole finish of Leroy and the whole automatic showdown, but we've not only been dealing with weather problems, but also this motor was a you-know-what to install, and to have to make videos to keep you guys in the loop, plus having to work on this, it is really hard. But we are just about done, guys. We got the new coils and spark plugs put in. In today's video, we're going to be putting in new fuel line, new fuel pump, hopefully the new carburetor. We're going to be hooking up our linkages, such as the throttle and choke. We're going to be slapping the blower shroud on, I believe. We're ready for that, yep. We're going to be... I think that's it, actually. I think that's all we're going to be doing. Oh, and fuel filter, duh. So we're getting at the really small nitty-gritty stuff, and if there's enough time, in today's video, I'll also start setting up the drive lines, such as the pulleys and the belt, and then at that point, it's just about getting the electrics finished. Now, the reason why the electrics are the hardest to do with this machine is because we have a male and a female end on the engine bay to the engine. So typically the engine is the female end and the engine bay is the male end, and when you clip the two together it creates a connection. But because these two are similar and different, it is really tricky to match those wires together. You have to get a wire schematic to figure out which wires are colored what they do, so that you don't screw up putting the wires together on the motor. So I'll show you what that means right here. Where is it? Okay, those wires are different. There's our fuel right here. Yeah, so the motor has the female end, or did I say it had the male end? I don't know why. Alright, so this motor's got the female end, and then this side has the male end somewhere. I don't know where it went, if it even has one, actually. Yeah, that's a good problem. That's a pretty good sized problem. And so part of the trick is, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I thought this actually had a male end on it, but it doesn't. So the trick is going to be getting a male end installed on the engine bay side, the dash side here, and getting all the right wires connected, charging wire, accessories wire, just mag coil wires, just all those wires done properly. I'll probably do that in shorts, definitely not on camera. That is a whole video in itself and more. So like I said, today's video, we're just gonna be prepping this motor up. There might be one last video on this, but I'm not really too sure. This might be the last video you see of us working on it, and I think the next video we're gonna hook up a little baby bottle and put some gas in the tank and see what we get for crankage. We're just about there, guys, just about there. Hopefully, like I said, the carburetor that we got from Hypa for not only the log splitter but the Cub Cadet, they've been working amazing. So hopefully the carburetor we got up in here is gonna perform just as good. So without further ado, I'm gonna quit my jawing, and I guess we'll tackle meeny, miny, mo, who, catch the tiger, go. We're going to do the fuel system first because I want to do the carburetor after the fuel system. I don't want to have to go back. So I'm going to get right back to you guys when we start working on that. Alrighty, guys, so this is what Hypa gave us with our little fuel system kit. It's a carburetor kit, but it came with extra goodies, of course, along with the fuel filter kit we bought a long time ago. But anyways, we've got a carburetor, those metal gaskets. We've got some fuel line. I believe it's 3/16, just standard Ridemore fuel line, basically. I'm trying to find it here. A fuel pump somewhere in one of these boxes. Ah, got it. Brand new, unopened, well, until now, unused fuel pump. So we got fuel pump, fuel filter, and our fuel line, along with carburetor and these nice brass clips. So we're gonna start with the clips: fuel pump, fuel filter, and fuel line. I'm gonna move the carburetor out of the way. Same with the gaskets. Okay, so just like every other fuel system you'll deal with, you're gonna need a pair of pliers or a pair of needle nose, any which way you like. I am purposely bought a lot of this fuel line because some of the stuff I was dealing with, it's starting to get pretty old. So we're gonna cut and measure this kind of fuel line. All right, so grab our filter here. Gonna remove this fuel line. Yeah, this stuff's really dry rotted and stale. It's just really old stuff. It's like a brick. I hope I have enough fuel line to replace this. I think I do. All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna set me up a little level true spot here. Almost said trail camera by mistake. Okay. So you guys can see we have a fuel shut on and off switch here, and the fuel line obviously goes from here up to here. This does not come with a fuel on and off switch, but I put one on anyways because why not? And we'll hook up a fuel filter from the switch, between the switch and the pump. It's always good to have that. So we're gonna measure out our line here. We're gonna go from pump like this. So probably right around there. I'm gonna cut it. It's always good to give yourself extra room. That way, if you're wrong, the worst that happens is you just cut too little fuel line out. Because once you've cut too much, you can't go back. Okay, nice little flush cut with my pliers, my steel cutters, and there we have it. So now we're gonna mock it up. Now, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, a lot of companies, see how this doesn't have an arrow on it? Oh, wait, no, it does. Wow, that's shocking. Usually these aftermarket guys don't put them on. The arrow is showing you the way that the filter should be put on. So you're not going to put your filter like this with the arrow facing the engine bay. You're going to want to turn it around. That way your filter, I'll find the damn arrow, there we go. The filter is facing like this because so you guys are gonna want to make sure there's an arrow on here, right? And I know I said that there wasn't, but usually these aftermarket guys put them in here, but the arrow indicates where your filter goes. So if the arrow is facing this way, which this one's facing this way, you're not going to want to go like this because the fuel is going to come in through here and it's going to come out through here, which, I mean, technically, yeah, it is filtering it just in a different way. But when they recommend when you twist it the way that they recommend, the filter goes inside the filter and then comes out the spout side of the filter like a hopper. In my opinion, I've never noticed any significance in switching the filters like this, but I will say it actually does help to do it this way by a little bit as far as dirt goes. But in my opinion, it's, I mean, you take it or leave it kind of information. But just figured I'd let you guys know. Some of you guys, you know, you're hearing the stuff I'm telling you and you're like, yeah, no shit. But you gotta also keep in mind there's people out there that don't know what this is. So, gonna put in our nice brass clips. I like these brass clips because they not only work really good, but they also make the engine look nice, so I like it. All right. Oops. My bad, accidentally hit the camera. She fell right over. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna see if we can't get this puppy in. Alrighty. Just kind of twisting it on. Hopefully you guys can see. I can't really see on the GoPro. I will say one thing I don't like about Hypa, guys, and got a lot of comments on it too, and you guys are right. I keep saying, you know, buy stuff from them, click the link below, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, great, we click the link, but everything's sold out, or most things are sold out. So I apologize for that. I genuinely had no idea. They don't seem to be really keen on restocking their shelves quick. So I do apologize for that. And I mean, if you ever see or hear me blab about a link, do take it with a grain of salt, because I don't know if it's actually going to be working or not. You know, like if I say 40% off on V-twin gaskets, is there even going to be gaskets there? Which is something I'm trying to, you know, from now on, because I didn't know that, I'm trying to check now to see if they're in stock before I even put the links in. But even though Hypa's got that big major problem, in my opinion, they actually, you know, they're not bad. You know, they're at least standing by the quality of their products so far. Doing these kind of... Alrighty, guys, here we go. So I already backed out most of the bolts just so we're not sitting here until the cows come home. But what we're dealing with here are 4 bolts. We have 2 on the top and we have 4 on the bottom. And we're going to be using a 3/8 socket. Okay. There's 1, there's 2. Here's what they look like. They also have a star bit inside of them. So that's nice. So like this. Now be really careful taking these out, guys. There are these little rubber ring gaskets that I'll show you on each end of the ports, the intake ports. And if they come out, it isn't the end of the world, but they can be a you-know-what to put back in. And it's always good that when you're unbolting a carburetor, lift it a little bit, keep it suspended, because you do have linkages that are connected, and those linkages can be at stake if they fall and get bent. Like right now, see how the carburetor's just, it's gonna want to fall down a little bit. I want to let it come down a little bit, just a little bit. Fold it over. All right. So you see from here, there are these little ring gaskets right around here. You guys could look close up. Right there. And you're just gonna want to be careful of that. Make sure they don't come out. And all that good stuff. So we are going to be taking apart this carburetor, obviously. So surprisingly, the first thing you're going to want to do is unbolt this before you even remove the linkages, because you can't remove the linkages without unbolting this first. So it's your preference whether you'd like to use a deep socket or a regular socket. I do believe these are going to be 7/16. Yep, 7/16. I'm using a 7/16 little deep socket action here. Let me see if I have the right extension for this pup. Okay. So I have a deep socket here. Remember, guys, 7/16. And we're gonna actually, you know what? Yeah, no, we're just gonna tackle this. Yeah, we're just gonna tackle this pup. So Hopefully you guys can see. Make sure you guys can see. Yes, you can. I'm gonna have some sockets here. Shoot. I don't think I have the right size, actually. That's not a 3/8, it's a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, something like that. Nope. That is it's something small. How about that? Shoot. Let me see if I have the right size in 3/8 here. It's tricky. I don't even think I have that size actually for 3/8. If I do, it's not likely. Oh my goodness, I do. 11 millimeter. Wow, that was lucky. Okay. So you could use a 7/16 deep socket, or that's either Metric American or SAE, whatever. We're gonna use 11 millimeter. All right, come in nice and good here. Loosen one guy up. I'm just gonna go around, loosen them up, cracking them open. Beautiful. There's 2, 3, and damn, that wasn't even tightened. Okay, yikes. I'm actually going to use the deep socket just to kind of not hurt my nails or my fingers. Okay. Now you guys are going to notice there's a star bit. What looks to be a star bit on this. Now, you can use a star socket, but in order to take this carburetor out, there are 2 screws with little star spiked tops at the tip of them. And that is what is holding your carburetor in. These bolts I'm taking off right now, their only purpose is to hold the intake in, or where the air filter goes. I'll show you here. Okay. Keep those bolts in a safe spot behind the camera. I wish I had a cameraman, but I don't. There's that. Here's the carburetor. So you're going to want to grab some pliers. Hopefully you guys can see this, because this is as real as it's going to get. So I can move you guys closer down to it. Alright. Grab onto those little star spikes. Hopefully you guys can see that. And very lightly, or very carefully, just loosen them up. They should loosen up pretty quick. It's kind of like a lockbox design, so there's a nut in the back that is locked in, and the screw with the lock nut just kind of helps it go along. And so you just crack them open with the pliers, because the pliers has the jagged teeth on it. So that's what's going to help you really get a good grip on the tip of these screws. Now, one thing that is kind of concerning me a little bit here, folks, is these are, 2 of these were actually hand tightened on. So you want to make sure that these are on really, really good. Nothing terrible to the, you don't want to tighten them to the point where they're going to strip. You never want to do that. You just want to have them tight enough to where you're confident that you're not going to be able to pull them out by hand. Right. Another thing to note, see how I'm lifting these 2 and it's ripping out the gasket? I don't really care about this gasket. It's already shot, but you want to kind of grab your fingernail or a flathead and just kind of lightly lift up those spots so that it's even if you were to save that gasket. But like I said, these gaskets are shot. This motor did some sitting before I could grab it, so all that. The carburetor's coming out very nicely. So I'm going to stop the video here and keep screwing these puppies in. And when we come back, we're going to be showing you guys how to remove the carburetor and its linkages, and vice versa, put back the carburetor and its linkages. And then everything else from there on out, it's pretty much reverse operation. So I'm gonna cut the camera off here and we'll see you then. Alrighty guys, got our bolts right here. Here's what I was telling you guys about. Little star socket there. Using the pliers is just fine. It's just as long as you don't go hog wild on them, you'll be just fine. So, to take this carburetor apart, you're gonna have two different linkages here. You have your governor rod linkage, which is your throttle, and then you have your choke linkage, which actually, believe it or not, does not connect with the governor. A lot of single cylinders will tend to do that because they don't run dual barrel intakes, and also that's just the way that they are made. They have a whole linkage system with a bracket, and there's usually a hammer that kicks the choke. This one is a manual choke, so you have a separate cable for the manual choke. And this choke goes from the side of the carburetor to the top of this double barrel intake. I'll show you right here, or the bottom of it, my bad. Hope you guys can see that right there. So it doesn't matter which side comes off first. It tends to happen a lot that when you move the carburetor, this side comes out right here. Either way, it's fine. So I'm gonna see if I can't get the carburetor side to give out first. So all we do is just give it a quick little twist. Okay, come on. And there we go. Quick little twist. And now our intake's out. Same idea with the throttle. You see here it got a little bent. See that right there? Just a little bit bent. I can't show it on camera, but it's okay. So this one's a little awkward. Gotta twist it up quite a good ways here. And there we go. Carburetor's off. Now this carburetor we're not going to throw away. This actually works. It works fine, but it had a issue where it kept running rich. So, you know, using Hypa while they're still with me. So I figured, hey, you know what? Why not just start fresh and get a new carburetor? That way we can just get that off the list and also make it just more reliable. So there's that. Now another problem with this motor, because I will be getting a rebuild kit for that carb, so don't worry. But the fuel solenoid wires here, you have a positive and a ground wire. They're bare bones. They could touch, they could ground out and stop your motor from running. I've seen it happen more times than one. People always say you can snap the needles on them and they'll work. And yes, that is true, it will work. But some of these rigs really do not like it. Whether you believe it or not, that's up for you to try on your own. I've just been running V-twins for all my life, and they don't like it. Doesn't matter which V-twin it is, they don't like it, but they will run. And some of them you can actually get them tuned to the point where it doesn't even make a difference. So yes, that does work, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if you are using a fuel solenoid, like what I'm gonna be doing here, that solenoid is preventing backfire. But most importantly, you have these two wires to connect to the female end of the solenoid, which is on the bottom of your carburetor. And if they're bare bones like this, I'll get you guys a little bit closer. If they're bare bones like this, that's not good. You don't want those touching. So what we're gonna do is just slap some electrical tape on that. I mean, I have heat shrink. I also have electrical tape. Either one would work. If you're going to do heat shrink though, I highly recommend you heat shrink it and then maybe zip tie both ends, just so, you know, a little extra security, but you don't have to. It's not going to kill anything. So I'm going to stop the camera off here, and I'm going to put some heat shrink or electrical tape, whichever I want, on these wires, and then we're going to install the new carburetor. And alrighty guys, we are back, and I'm going to be showing you it probably is the most important part of the carburetor replacement, which is the gasketing. A lot of people, I get the texts, I get the emails, and I get the comments on anywhere from everywhere that, you know, they say, you know, a lot of people tell me that when they order these carburetors, they come with more gaskets than they think they should come with. And I'm telling you right now, they do not. If you do not have 2 gaskets for the intake side, I'm sorry, for the front of the carburetor, and 2 and 3 for the back, remember, 2 in the front, 3 in the back, you got the wrong carburetor setup, or they're scamming you because you're supposed to have 2 gaskets in the front and 3 gaskets in the back. Now, some of you are going to be wondering, 3 gaskets? Well, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm calling it a third gasket, but you have 2 individual gaskets. So these are gaskets, right? These are your polyester. I don't know what these are made out of, rubber or something. These are your normal gaskets, and then this one acts like a gasket, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is just another gasket. So 3 gaskets. This is made out of aluminum, and this is going to be really, really important because this is what also helps keep. Now, it doesn't only help keep the gaskets together, but when you go to bolt these carburetors in, the bolts have these nuts, and the nuts are going to really compact that gasketing, and so having a steel gasket like aluminum gasket like this really helps protect that. But it also serves a purpose with the carburetor itself, and that's just airflow. I mean, we're talking, see the difference when you have just 2 bare ones and then you have this one right here, how it kind of curves up. This is, now don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure what that does is it's supposed to help with a certain amount of flow of your fuel and air. Now, if you guys could comment actually on what these are really, really for, please hit me up and let me know. I'm pretty sure what I just said is, what it's for, but I might be wrong, especially with these newer carburetors coming out. They're serving different purposes. Like my old ones didn't have these little flanges. It was just bare, just flat, but these ones do. So if you guys think I'm wrong, please, I really encourage you to look it up for me and put it in the comments, because I really don't know. I'm just giving out my best guess here. I'm pretty sure, like I said, that's what it's for. But there are your 3 gaskets. And once again, this is, although it's technically not a gasket, it is a gasket. And it's hard for me to say. It might sound hard to say at least, but once you figure out what this does, you'll find out whether it's 3 gaskets or 2 gaskets. But 3 components, we'll say it like that. We have 3 components. So now installing these gaskets can be a you-know-what if you don't know what you're doing, but lucky for us, not to toot my own horn, but I've been doing this so many times, it is literally a walk in the park, and I can get it done within seconds, if not a minute. So what you're going to want to do is grab your intake here, grab your carburetor, okay? And let me set up the camera a little better here so I can really get this on video. So you're going to want to take your 4 bolts first. Now I know that sounds a little bit different, a little bit odd, but you're just going to want to start off with 4 bolts first. Okay. So got my intake here. Got all that. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is, you can see the top of these bolts here have these little flat tops to them. Sink them all in. Sink this one in. It's like loading a shotgun, Sink this one in. This one. And this last one. Now the reason why they're built like that is for this specific reason. You're going to want to take your 2 front gaskets. 2, people, 2. If it's 1, you're done. I mean, that should be a decal. Maybe that's something I'll put on my merch. You're 1, you're done. You got to have 2. The reason for that is just gasketing. I mean, you need enough gasketing and enough thick gasketing that is going to cover and solidify the carburetor side to the intake side. That's just the way they do it. So you can see those flat spots go into those little dips, and it makes these nice and flat. Now your bottom side here, this is going to be the interesting bit here. You're going to want to take this, okay, and you're probably wondering, which way do they go? Look at the front of this carburetor here. See these 2 holes, and see how they got these dips? Put them in the same position, but the only difference is these don't have 2 holes because they're not covering those 2 holes, right? They're only doing it because the carburetor's this big. It's that high, this big, so to make it more, to make the gasket cover more ground, it's gonna just copy the same thing. So I can see here, looking at the carburetor gasketing, we're gonna have them up like this. Apologies if my hand is covering it. And then we're gonna put our steel one. Now here's a real question: which way does it go? You could put it in this way, or you could put it in this way. Well, I'm going to tell you guys right now. One of the ways, I can tell which way goes in and out is these flanges, and maybe that's what they're there for. Like I said, it'd be really nice if one of you guys at least commented and hit me up, because that might be what they're there for. And I'm also noticing, guys, I thought this was paint, but it's not. See that right there? Take it off, because after a long time, if this breaks up into pieces, you don't want that landing in your carburetor. I'm pretty sure they put this in here as a protection against corrosion, but I'm telling you right now, you don't want that there. Okay, so we have our plate right here. So, gotta carefully flip this up. Nice and easy. Oh, that's right. So the way that you want to tell which way goes in is these flanges. The flanges are typically going to be sticking out, although you can see how when you stick them in, it's going to be blocking the butterfly valve. That's a good way to tell. If they're sticking in, it's going to block the butterfly valve. So make sure they're sticking out like this. Flanges out, these little two lips out, and they're in that upright position. There you go. Center it all up. Now I know I could do this I said I could do this in seconds, if not minutes, but when you're doing a video, it does tend to take a little more than that. So there we go. Now we have our gasket assembly finished, but not quite. We have to mate this with the intake. So we're gonna grab our intake, and you wanna make sure you put this in the right way. If I put this in like this, that's gonna be the right way. How do I know? Because the solenoid is right underneath the choke. If you have it like this, you're going to be ending up hooking up your choke to where your throttle goes. You don't want that. So make sure that's put down nice and easy. And there you go. It's just seated right. I was just about to say, wait for it to seat in. And now when you go to screw these in, try to screw them in little by little, making sure that they're all together. If they're not together, you can risk damaging or ripping the gasket. Alrighty guys, we are back. It's starting to get dark out. These winter days are, the days are getting shorter and the nights are getting longer. That's what they say. So anyways, there was one thing. Alright, so we got this carburetor installed, right? Looks pretty. All that shiny new stuff. Oh my goodness, that looks good. Especially with that fuel system in. Shoo-wee! That looks good. But there's one thing, not only did I forget to mention, but I also forgot to show, and I'm pretty disappointed. Because my camera ended up dying, and I even announced it, and then I cut the clip, it charged it, forgot, oh shit, you know what? Forgot to show you guys. You guys may be wondering, alright, cool, you got that carburetor in that way, but what about those linkages? So, one thing I totally forgot to show and mention to you guys is I actually removed the linkages from the actual shaft. So, basically, you have to turn and twist to get the linkages off the carburetor, and then when you go to put the carburetor back in, what I'll usually do to make it easier, and it actually saves me rods, and I don't have to keep breaking and bending rods, because one thing about the cold here, guys, up north, I don't know how you guys do it down south and out west, but when it gets cold up here, these rods tend to really stiffen up, and any sort of deep bend will break and snap, kink. It'll destroy these rods. So you really have to really think, how are you going to get this off in the winter, or in my position, cold conditions, to where you're not only going to break it, but you're going to be able to save that rod. So you're not going to break it, you're going to save the rod and still be able to do your job. So what I usually do is I just unhook it from the governor shaft here, and then I do the same thing with the choke. The choke actually I can unhook from its own little system there. Here, so it's quite easier to do it like that. But that's how I do it. Just unhook it, hook it in manually, and then while I'm putting in the carburetor system, I'll hook it in one unit. It's really hard to explain, and it's something I should have caught on camera. But just so you guys know, that's how we do it. I would be doing the throttle cabling right now and also fixing this electrical wiring. But the night is getting cold. It is super cold right now, holy crap. But that's not stopping us. So but what is stopping us though is time and light. It's getting really late. I believe it's about 5 o'clock, believe it or not. 4:50, 5 o'clock. Yeah, so it's crazy. But hey, we couldn't do a lot, but we were able to do a new fuel system and a brand new carburetor. So I think that's more than enough for this video. And if you guys want to see more videos on Leroy, please let me know. I don't want to keep throwing these videos at you guys if you're not interested, but I throw them there because they're also good and helpful things to learn, and not a lot of YouTubers cover that stuff. They usually just show you, oh, here, you know, bing, bang, boom, and they'll cover the pointers, but they won't physically show you how it's done. And I know from experience, it's nice to see it physically done rather than having to keep YouTubing and searching on the web. How is it actually done? You know, like it's such a pain in the you-know-what to try to find people who can actually do these repairs single-handedly and show each and every step. I tried to do that, but it kind of disappoints me I skipped on that linkage part because it is another crucial part, but it is what it is, guys. So this motor's about ready to fire up. I could actually fire it up right now as we're talking, but you know, I want to get the electrics wired up. I just want that done. So really, all this motor needs is a blower shroud on it, some linkages hooked up, a drive system put in, which is super easy. I just literally have to put the drive pulley up and put the belt back on. It's that quick. It's like 5 minutes. So button the motor up with a blower shroud, electrics, and put the belt on, and hit the key and put a battery in it. I'm gonna put the battery in and hit the key. Fill it up with gas. We're right there, guys. So this week is going to be Leroy week, so you're going to be seeing these videos of Leroy. Like I said, I really hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Please say something now if you don't like the way things are being shot, or if you want to see more or less of the work, just hit me up. But I believe next video what we're going to do is we're going to hook up those linkages. We're going to try to get those electrics done. I'm not too sure. I might have to call my brother in for that one because he knows this rig way more better than I do. This is his rig after all. But yeah, no, we're going to try to get the linkages done, try to get the electrics done, get the blower shroud on, air filter on, get the belt in, and then we might be a video to 2 videos away this week, guys, from this machine running. Now, depending on how this goes, I should turn the camera to me, not on the damn motor. Depending on how everything goes, we should, if things go right, we should be able to do that automatic showdown with the Simplicity, the Husqvarna, and the Cub Cadet, which, like I said, I'm not going to spoil anything, but if this motor can run for us really strong this weekend and just show signs of just awesomeness, like it's ready to tackle the job, then we're looking at a date of next weekend. So that'll be, what is that, the 23rd? It's the 23rd or the 22nd. It's on a Saturday, hopefully. It might be on a Sunday, depending on weather. But that's kind of what we're hoping here. And you know what? Hopefully it all goes well, right? So stay tuned for that. And I can't wait till we get to hear this puppy roar. And plenty of videos left. I mean, after this thing's out of the shop, the Poulon's getting yanked in, and the Craftsman 2 is getting dragged in to get fixed up for the winter. We're gonna put a plow on it. Oh my goodness, lots of stuff to do here, ladies and gentlemen, lots of stuff. And of course, I am not doing any of that stuff without cleaning up around here. Leroy, as loving as I love this motor, it's left a hell of a shit show here. It's left hell of a mess. So when we drag him out, we're gonna clean up the shop and get some new visitors. And with all that said and done, guys, I really, really hope you all enjoyed today's video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out the Patreon and Instagram. Guys, Patreon's free. Come on. I mean, it's free content. You don't have to pay monthly for that. It's all free. So check it out. Check out the Instagram. We're always posting on those 1 to 2 times a week. Instagram is almost 3 times a week. I'm not too sure. It depends on the week. So check that out. And that's it. I hope you all stay safe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Possible Mowers out.